So this is a PEGA RPA demo session 2. Um, so now we'll go ahead with the studio, intro of the studio. So here, so as I said in the last session, we'll be giving you the installation setup file today. I will ask team to share with you through a Google Drive or
Yes,
some other.
yes, sir.
Uh,
Sir, record the section.
yeah, I've already started recording.
Okay.
It is recording is in progress.
Okay, sir. Say loudly, sir.
Okay. So as I said in the previous session, a team will be sharing you the installation setup file so that you can install the studio in your machines. And the version, as I said earlier, version is a 19.1.118. So you can see the version. So in the help about Pega Robot Studio, so 118, 19.1.118. This is how you can check your Pega Robotics Studio version. So I will give you the document also, like how we can install, and also I will show you how to install the document in this session. Install the Pega Robotics Studio in this session, and also the overview of the studio. So this is the agenda for today. So once you are completed the installation, so you looks like the Pega Robotics Studio, just similar to the Visual Studio. So as all of you know that like how Visual Studio looks like. So the same way Pega Robotics Studio also will be looks like. In the left side we'll get Object Explorer. In the right side we'll be getting the Solution Explorer. Here in the Solution Explorer we can see our solution, whatever the files we have added, items like automation files, and a few of the application adapters, like as we say applications we call in our RPA side, we'll call it as a adapter. If it is a web application like based on the URL, so we'll say it as a web adapter. If it is a Windows application which is already been installed in our machine, we call it as a Windows adapter. So all the items like whatever we have added under the solution will have project. So in that project, like whatever the items like automation files, as I said, Excel files, and also adapters, so all those things will be visible in the solution explorer. So here in the solution, we can add multiple projects. Let's say you have 5 applications. Let's say like application A, B, C, D, E. So you wanted to split those into 5 different projects. So you don't need to create it 5 different solutions. You can directly create a 5 different projects under one single solution. So in that single solution, you can use all the 5 projects by using your DLLs. So we say like data link library. So the reference. So the project which you wanted to use in other projects, so you can add that as a reference DLL, so that you can get all the automation files under that project. Let's say you have a project A is the main project. So B, C, D, E are the sub projects. So those 4 sub projects you can add in the main project A, so that these all the items like the automation files or adapters, all those things can be visible in the project A. So under one single solution, you can add multiple projects, but under one solution project, you will be having like one solution itself. So there is a difference between that. Under one single solution, you can add multiple projects, and those projects can be used in other projects as well, like within this project. So if you want to transfer some data, like let's say like from A application to you wanted to move to B application, and that A application data has to be moved to B. So that data also you can be moved by using one of the component which we have in the toolbox, that is a interaction manager. So like that, you can move the data, like input data from one project to another project, one application to other application. You can paste it, you can copy it, you can fetch the data, and you can paste it, you can save it. So all those things can be done in the solution explorer. And also like moreover thing, like in the object explorer, so whatever the automation files, adapters, so you have created, you can see in the object explorer. But here, whatever you have added under automation files, so let's say you have added one variable under the automation file, so that can be seen in the object explorer. Let's say you have added adapter, and in that adapter you have interrogated few things, few elements from the application, so that can be visible in the object explorer. I will show you like how it will be looks like, just a sample thing. And also like after captured the elements, so you can see those methods, properties, and events. So as I said earlier, like there will be a few automations for RDA automations. It will be on event based. So once that user clicks on the button, so it will start the automations, it will start the process. So that will be a event based. And methods like if you want to click any button, if you want to um, um, if you want to do any other actions like clicking, focusing, like refreshing the elements, so refreshing the page and passing the URLs, like navigating to one URL to another URL, so within the application. So all those things can be under in the methods. The properties like which we say passing the values, like let's say you have a text box and you wanted to pass that value, so you can pass that text value, and also fetching the text value from the element. So let's say you have a non-editable text uh, in the application, so that data you wanted to fetch from the application, so that can be used as a properties, so like that. And also like let's say if there is any element like is already been created or visible, so such type of things can be validated in the properties. So this is a solution explorer and object explorer, and also the events, methods, and properties. And uh, after adding few of our items like automations or adapters or few of the our project related items, so the properties which I said like earlier, few things we need to be configured. If it is a UI related, Windows application related, and also like um, text adapters yesterday, as I said. So for those things, like the properties has to be configured, and also the connection establishing between the Pega Studio and the Pega PRPC. So that those things has to be configured. So that configuration has to be done in the properties. Let's say you have a web application, and you wanted to interact with that web application through our browser, like Chrome browser, or else like Mozilla Firefox. So like that, you wanted to interact with that applications by using the URL, right? So you can't directly paste that URL in the Google Chrome, and you can't directly try to interrogate it. To interrogate the application, we have to interact from our Pega Robotic Studio to browser. So for that, we have to update our URL in the properties panel. So in the properties panel, we have to update, and then we have to start our interrogation. If we click on the start button, then it will going to launch um, our browsers. So from there, you can interrogate our elements. So based like that, it will be interacting with the application. So that properties like configurations has to be done in the properties panel. So after the properties are updated, then you have here to creating a new projects, and opening a existing projects, and also like editing, like replacing or bookmark to do any URLs or something, uh, files you wanted to do. And also here view, like if there is any panels are missed, like a solution explorer, object explorer, properties, or toolbox, or output. Output in the sense like whatever the things is going on in your studio, you can see that here. So like that, like you will be having all the tabs, all the panels here. You can show like if you click on the output, you can see here output panel. So like that you can able to uh, disable and enable here and debug. Coming to debug, like as I said in the previous session, debugging the process. Let's say if you have a project created already and you wanted to check step by step, like how the way it is moving, what values it is moving, it are taking from the application, what values it is passing to the application, and what is happening in our application. So those things can be monitored step by step by using a debug. Here we can, once the project is created, we can see a lot of options here, like toggle the breakpoint and um, step into, step over, step out. So like that you can see. So for that we have shortcuts also. I will show you like the what shortcuts for step into, step out, and step over. Just similar to our Visual Studio only, like all those things. So here tools like connecting to the database. So external applications we can check, and also log viewer, like whatever the logs it has been captured from the studio, so you can view from here itself. And windows, like layouts, even the panels you can dock and hide. Look, this is a common thing. And also help, so you can see here our versions and studio versions, runtime versions, anything like RPA homepage, directly you can navigate from here. So this is a 118 version. It's a currently the most of the clients and vendors are using this 118 and above 100 versions Pega Robotics Studio. So still the clients hasn't moved to 22 version. It's a lighter version, 22 version, but still it is not adapted by the clients. So because of the reason, most of the projects are running in the 19th version. But coming to 22 version, most of the things has been changed. The UI also changed, and a few of the properties has been changed. So most of the things has been changed, and it came into a lighter version compared to comparatively older versions. So if we wanted to migrate from 19 to 22 version, there will be a lot of challenges that developers needs to face. So it's slightly still working on few things. Pega is still working on the few things, and they wanted to update few things in the Pega Robotics Studio. So still it is keep on going. So still it is not stable, and because of the reason, only like still the clients are using 19 version. So here we had completed these panels, and we'll go and try to create a so before that, let me uninstall the Pega Robotics Studio, and let me show you how to install Pega Robotics Studio. So before creating a project, like I will show you how to install. Give me a few seconds of time. So this is a 118 version. So including like while we are going to install, so it will give us a all as at a package. So we'll get a native foundation, as I said, native foundation usages, and also PEGA RPA services and Visual Studio 2015 updated 3, and also Shell, um, Visual Studio integrated Shell version. So everything will get as a package, and whenever you try to install, so it will ask for the install the missing C++ drives, and also the RPA services and native foundation, Visual Studio, everything like whatever you have, it has been missed in your machine, you can download it from here. I mean, it will take the package from here. So before installing, so you have to you have to install PEGA RPA services before installing the studio. So you have to like let's say um, if you install PEGA Robotic Studio, it will ask for PEGA RPA services to install. But even though, like before that, if you install, like before installing our PEGA Robotic Studio, if you install PEGA RPA services and PEGA Native Foundation, it will be a good, because there will be some hiccups while installing our PEGA Robotic Studio. So before that itself, if it is possible, you can install it. So I'm installing PEGA RPA services first. So no need to do anything, no need to change any path, nothing. So directly you can click on next, next, next. So here, yeah, as you can see, the robot work group, robot name, robot service operator. It's purely related to the PEGA services. Like if there are any um, projects you wanted to, if there are any bots you wanted to run from the server, it's as a RPA. So you have to register your bot, and that bot name and operator name, and also the work group in the sense like for each and every project, like for each and every bot will have individual work groups. As you know that like in the PEGA we have work groups, work queues, work baskets, like that. So for that, like we have to maintain individual work groups for each and every project, each and every bot, so that that is a unique one which we need to maintain in our PEGA site. It is not a PEGA robotic site, it's a purely PEGA PRPC site thing. So there it has to be created as a work group, and that work group has to be assigned to our project. So that will be a unique one for each and every individual projects. And also here you can see authorized RPA group. So this is all related to general things, like you don't need to maintain, you don't need to change anything here. Directly you can proceed here. Enable RPA logging. So no need to change anything. Directly click next and click install. As I said, RPA services is connecting to the PEGA services and other REST API SOAP calls services. This will be used for that. So it is finished. So I will go ahead with the native foundation setup. So here also you don't need to change anything. Click on I accept, and no change in the folder. Click on next. So here also click on next. So you will connect this native foundation to all these PEGA related applications like runtime, studio, plugin, and messaging host and translator. Messaging host is like which is used for establish a connection between the application and our PEGA Robotic Studio. Click on next and click on install. Now I will go with the PEGA Robot Studio setup. So here you can see these are all available in my system. If it is not available, like .NET version 4.6.1, it will check automatically. You don't need to check. So you can see here the status of the found. So installed. So installed. So these things, it is already there. You can skip. I mean, it is already skipped because it is already available in my machine. So this is a mandatory thing, like it needs to be installed because in the earlier installation setup it has been missed. So I'm clicking next. So it is asking for a native foundation. It's correctly installed. 1 second, guys. Be here, guys. Like actually, I have to restart. I will rejoin the system which I have currently in this system. Like I have uninstalled, right? So I have to restart the machine and connect back. So stay here. Like I will be connecting back again. I'm restarting my system. Yeah. Hi guys. Uh, uh, Praveen, are you able to see my screen? Okay, good. So I'm going with the PEGA Robotic Studio setup. So once it is started with the administrator, run as administrator, you will get a this screen, and here you have to accept. Click on accept. Click on next. And if it is not installed, that RPA services is not installed, you can select no. I mean, you can select yes. If it is already installed, you can skip that. You can select as a no, because it will, even though if it is already installed, it will not ask for this page. So you can directly go ahead with the next. So here I have uninstalled the PEGA RPA services. So again, it is, that is the reason it is asking for the installation again. So I'm clicking yes and moving with next. And here, this is the key point which we need to follow. I mean, in our laptops, there will be a Microsoft Office will be installed. So let's say you have around 2013 version or 2016, 2019. So whatever the versions we have, so you have to select. Because why we need to select, why it is asking for us, you have to work, if you wanted to work with the Excel, Word or Outlook, then you have to choose this. Otherwise, like if you don't want to run, and if you are not using Excel and MS Office related things, like you can skip this. Otherwise, if you are wanted to work with Excel, Outlook, Word, or whatever the MS related products. So you have to select this. And as in the recent days, like in nowadays, like each and every client or vendors are moving into the Office 365. 365. So they are not using 2019 16. Like some clients and vendors are using, but most of the clients or vendors are moving into the Office 365. So here you have to select none for Office 365, only for Office 365. Other than Office 365, you have to select the versions. Like you can see the versions uh, uh, from the control panel, or else from the application itself, like in the Excel or Outlook. So there you can check help, and from there you can get the versions of the MS Office. Otherwise, if it is a 365, you have to select a none if you wanted to work on that. Yeah. Move further, and this is a as I said earlier in the previous session, to establish a connection between the PEGA Robotic Studio and to PEGA PRPC. So we have to maintain these URLs here. Robot Manager URL and Package Server URLs. You have to add it here. So if you are going to add the URLs, then only it will ask for the credentials, and that by giving the PEGA server credentials, you can able to connect our PEGA Robotic Studio to server, PEGA server. So right now, these are the properties which we need to change while the installation. Even though after installation, if you forgot, if we selected none, even though we can change the URLs, these settings from the backend later on, like whenever you wanted. Otherwise, if you don't want, you can skip none. If you wanted to connect from the client servers, so you have to give your client URL servers here. Otherwise, you can select none, because these are the properties and we need to change. So right now we don't have a PEGA RPA servers, right? So here you can select as a none, or also you can select default option. Click on next, and this is a intelligence related, so you don't need to check or uncheck this. So you can skip this. You are not going to use this. Is advanced version, still no one has started to work on this, and no client is using this. So right now you can skip this, and even though if these settings are enabled or disabled, you can make the changes from the backend in the files. Like there are few files we have while installation. You will get, you are going to be, I mean, the board Pega Robotic Studio is going to be created a few folders and files in our systems. So from there you can change these settings in the Pega systems program data common config file will be having. So in that file you can change these settings, enable or disable. So click on next. So here also, like, you can change these settings. You don't need to enable this right now, because all those things related to the server connectivity, because Pega server connectivities are not here. So you can work on the live scenarios. While working on the live, you can make the changes from the backend or from the installation time itself. Here, you have to enable this RDA integration and JSON Web Token security. Why? Because if you wanted to work on the RDA related projects, it needs to be integrated with PEGA. Then you have to enable this, and also like if there is any JSON related service calls or something like need to be done from the uh, PEGA robot manager side, so you have to enable this and click on next. And here this is a mandatory one which you need to install, like a C++ 2012 visual. So if it is already there, it will not ask for you to install. If it is not there, it will ask for you to install. So this is a prerequisite you need to do. So click on yes and click on next. So there is no need to change the path. So here, this is also a main key point which we need to select. So whenever if you where you wanted to interact with the browsers like Chrome browsers and Edge browsers, you have to you have to select this PEGA browser extension. So if you select this PEGA browser extensions, it will automatically add the extensions into our browsers, so that whenever we try to interrogate, it will activate it and it will try to interact with the PEGA Robotic Studio and the browser. So this is the mandatory thing to interact to the uh, any web applications. So this extension has to be enabled. Even though if you forgot to update here, we can add those extension into our browsers from the backend. So the extension files will be available. It will be given by the PEGA Robot Studio itself while installation. So those files can be added to the browsers, to Edge browser or to Chrome browser. So click on next after checking. If you want to create a desktop shortcut or start menu program folder, so yes, if click on next and click on install. So this is the RPA services one setup. Click on next, 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 install. Service installation is set up, completed. So we have selected a browser extension setup enabled, right? So it is asking for the installation. Here, click on next and click on accept. So no need to change any path here. So it is a default path. So click on next and you can see here. While browser installation, it will ask for the Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge extensions. So if you click on next, so it will be adding in these two browsers. The extensions will be added in these two browsers. So I will show you like where you can how to navigate to the extensions and what extensions is enabled or disabled. You can check, and also the extension versions will be having. So that also like you have to remember while preparing for the interviews or any other things. So extension successfully installed. So click on finish and it will go ahead with the Robot Studio installation. So here it will ask you for Visual Studio if it is not installed. So you have to install. Otherwise, it will not ask for you to install, because in my system it is already been installed. So that is the reason it is not asking. So I will share all to all of them, like I will share you the document, and so that you can follow that document and you can install by your own. And also like in the client sides, you are the responsible to install the applications. Some places, like a few of the clients will have a support team and production team, and so to install our not as a production team, support team, to install the applications into our VDIs, in the I mean applications in the sense Pega Robotic Studio. Otherwise, like if there is no support team, like the developer is the responsible for that, and he has to install the application by his own. For that, team will support you to get the admin rights so that you can install the applications, Pega robotic related applications like RPA services, native foundation, and Pega Robotic Studio and Visual Studio Updater 3. So these all things needs to be installed. So for that you will get a admin rights. You will have to get the admin rights from the IT team, and so that you can install it. And once the installation is done, so you can use that. So for that purpose, um, you need to go through this installation setup document. Okay. So this is how we are going to install. So now let me open this Pega Robot Studio. So this is a 19.1 version, and the sub version is 118. So if you try to, like as I shown you earlier, there is a server details. So if you give the server details there, like I have enabled it. So if it is enabled, then it will ask for the connection establishment credentials. So if we select none there, it will not give us this pop-up. Why? Because intentionally I have given there as a yes to show you like how it looks like in the live scenarios in the real time. So if we select yes, it will ask you for the credentials. So there you have to give the URL to connect to our particular servers, robot manager. So once you gave the URL, so here you will ask for credentials, and you will get the credentials from the client side. So those credentials you have to mention it here on user basis. Like if you are using your studio, you will have your own credentials, and you have to give your email and password here. So even though if you are not having, if it is already enabled from while installing itself, you don't have to worry. You can just click on the cancel. So if you click on the cancel, it will launch the Pega Robot Studio. So as we have already seen this Solution Explorer, Object Explorer, properties, and file menu, everything, right? So now we'll go ahead and try to create a simple project, just a project, and adding an items. That's it. So here you have to click on the file, and go to new, and click on the project. So it will show you two different types. So let me explain what is the difference between these two, like Pega Robotic Studio and empty Pega Robot Automation project. So here, if we select Pega Robotic Automation, so what it will try to do, it will try to create a project under one solution. So in that project, you will get one automation file, empty automation file by default, so that you can use that automation file. Here you have to check whether you need a automation file. You can create that automation file manually, even though like if you wanted by default one automation file just to quick work, so you can select this Pega robotic automation project. If otherwise, my the best practice is to select empty Pega robotic automation project, because sometimes there could be a reason, there could be some compile errors with that automation file, even though if it is a null. So better to select empty Pega robotic automation project. So the difference between these two, let me create both the projects. So I am clicking OK, demo project one. So you have to choose your project name and the solution name. So the solution name will be different, you can maintain, and the project name can be different. So let's say you have, as I said, 5 applications you need to be interact, and that 5 applications will have one project name, like one whole process name, right? So that process name you can maintain in the solution name. And coming to the project name, so you have the 5 applications, right? So you can select the main project is the controller project. You can maintain that controller as a name, or else like if it is a having some application name, or from some process name you are doing in that, application, so that you can mention for that project. Why? Because it should be a the name has to be give a justification that what you are doing in that project, so that you have to maintain. So I am selecting it's a demo project, it's the solution name, and the name is the demo project underscore one. So you shouldn't maintain the special characters like at the rate or hash like that. So you have to maintain only underscore or else hyphen. Hyphen also not suggestible. Underscore you have to maintain, and the no spaces you have to mention here in the solution name and also in the project name. So clicking on OK, I'm creating a PEGA robotic automation project, which will be going to create one automation file, empty automation file. So in the right side solution explorer, you can see the automation file, which it has been created by default, and the project name and the solution name, which I have given. So in this project solution, I'm going to create a one more project. As I said, under one single solution, you can create a multiple projects. So I'm going to create a one more project. So that is an empty PEGA robotic project, and I'm going to give a PEGA project name as demo project underscore two. So you can see here the difference between these two. So there is a automation file. It is already created in the demo project one. Now automation file has been created under demo project two. So I think you should have know that like why the demo project one is highlighted and demo project two is not highlighted, because demo project one is a main project which we have created first. Like you can change that preferences also. Let's say you have to select this demo project two as a set main project. You can set as a startup project so that you can change that into demo project two as a main project, and from here it will start. Let's say you have the demo project one is the main project. From that project two, the process has to be started. You have to select that as a startup project, and from there you have to maintain your events or activities, all those things to be started. And you can call this demo project 2 under demo project 1. So like this, you can create a multiple projects under one single solution. So the project, you can see the versions here, right? The framework, .NET framework, and the our studio version. You can see it here. So this is how, like the as I said, the files whatever going we are going to be added in the project. So you can see those files here. You have one automation file here. You can see the automation file. If you double click this, it will be opening. From the solution explorer only, you can open the files, and you can open the adapters, applications, all those things. So here you can see as we have already discussed all those things, and edit also, the view also we have discussed. So project, so deploying the project. So here you can see this is the project one tab you have got after creating the solution. So you will get a deploy project, and unit test. You can do some unit testings here by selecting the automations itself directly, and you can change the preferences and the toolbox, everything you can. I mean, these all things can be managed, which is related to project specifically, and the build. So you can see like earlier we have got only three options, which is a batch, build, configuration manager, and other option. Like three options we have got, but now we have got few more selections. So here, if you wanted to clean in the sense like if let's say you have got some compile errors or a few issues you will be facing, like wherever, like whatever the application if you use like Visual Studio or Pega Robotic Studio or UiPath or some other vendor applications also, if you are using like I mean this coding development applications, so you will get some compile errors or some issues in the application itself while developing the projects. So for that reason, like you if you want to resolve that issues, so you have to clean the solution. If you are cleaning in the sense like whatever the unnecessary files, unnecessary data which has been created while working on the project, so you can it all can be deleted by clicking on the clean solution. The clean solution has to be done for 2 to 3 times, because if there are any files are missing, so that can be deleted. So if it is cleaned, then you have to rebuild. Build or rebuild, both are same. So you can build the solution. Why? Because build we have to do. So whatever the unnecessary files and the DLLs, everything has been deleted, right? So again, if you click on the build solution, you will get required files, required data link libraries, DLLs, or required um, temporary files that can be created once you click on the build solution. So if you click on the build solution, it will start the building the solution. You can see it here, build started, and you can see the um, output here, like what files it has been started to build. So you can see we have got one error. You will get like whenever you try to build, clean or rebuild, you will get to know that what errors you have and which file you have and what the error specifically it is mentioning. So it is saying that project must include at least one design file, which is saying project is not having any files here in the demo project too. So it is asking us to add one automation file or one any file you can add. So here if you add this, and again I'm trying to build a solution, it will try to read the demo project one, and it will try to read the demo project two, and once the build is succeeded, it will show you the message: two succeeded, are up to date, zero failed, zero skipped. It will show you like this. So this is the build and clean and debug. Earlier debug we didn't see the much options, as I said. So if you create a project or solution, you will get the more options. So you can see start debugging, start without debugging, um, step into step over, as I said, toggle breakpoint, delete all breakpoints, and start C sharp script debugging. So you can run, like, not only you can run from the automations, you can run the C sharp scripts also here in this Pega Robotic Studio. So let's say you have created one C sharp script, and that C sharp script need to be debugged. So you can debug that C sharp script from the Pega Robotic Studio itself. You don't have to go to some other outsource applications or Google compilers or Visual Studio, all those things. You can directly compile from here itself in the Pega Robotic Studio itself by clicking on this Start C sharp script debugging. And tools we already discussed everything. It has been same. Here you can see the few options has been created, enabled here for us. So this is the option. So you can see the files which you need to navigate, and this is a file which it's a new project to be created under the solution. So here to open the projects, open the files. So you can see if you wanted to open any file from here, you can directly open, save and save all. So it's a most recent solution. So let's say you have created some other solutions, or like let's say you have been worked on projects still from the past 2 years in the organization, right? So you have been created a 5 projects, five different solutions and 5 different bots it is running. So you don't have to go to open, and you don't want to search. So if it is already been opened, you can see it here. If it is already been opened earlier, you can see it from here, and you can open from the most recent projects and solutions from here. So like that you will get a shortcut from here also. And this is a deploy project shortcut key, which you can, if you click on this deploy, you will get this pop-up, and you can add your comments. And if you wanted to deploy locally, you can deploy it from here. And if you wanted to connect to the server, deploy it to the server, you have to check, like we'll discuss these things later, the deployment related projects. So if you want to debug, you have to click on this start button. If you click on this start button, it will start debugging the automation. if this start is related to C sharp, if you wanted to debug C sharp scripting, you can click this start and it will start your C sharp script debugging. And these all things like you don't have to worry about this. It's a completely like general things, settings and properties and navigating to the application. I mean files, all those things. So these two is the try and catch. So let's say if the project whatever you are trying to build, it should be in the best practices side. So you have to create uh, project in between the try catch. So if you click on this try, so if you click on here, so you will get this try, and the same way for catch also. So you have to connect these connections. So we'll discuss this later. And before moving into project creation, so we'll go ahead with the toolbox. As I haven't shown you the toolbox, right, in the previous, because we haven't created the solution. So let's go with the toolbox. So here in the toolbox, you can see most of the components which is related to our .NET. So as I said in the previous session, we will be having a .NET components to be used in our PEGA Robotic Studio. So these all related to .NET, and few of the things are related to PEGA Robotic Studio. So this runtime is related to PEGA Robotic Studio, and these variables are related to .NET, and few things like data. This is related to SQL query and oracles and connectors. As you can see, sorry, this is data connectors. As you can see, Excel, Outlook, Word, PDF, SMTP, service client, like service client in the sense like REST and SOAP, and also here advanced level type of components. You can see file utils, string utils. You can see script, C sharp script. If you wanted to add any scriptings, you can use this component. So we switch, wait any, wait all. So all those things like WinHelp utils. Like WinHelp is equal to like a mainframe application. It is related to. So few things we have, expressions also we have. So whatever the things in the .NET, you can see most of the things here. Otherwise, like a few things which is related to Pega Robotic Studio. So even you can see a file dialog, open file dialog. Let's say like you are going to upload one file, so you will get some pop-up, right, to select the path and file there. So just similar to that, you can use this open file dialog, and error logs you can mention. So everything like you can use here in your automation based on the requirements. So these are the properties, like you can see the property panel. So you can dock, you can hide or unhide, you can do you can play with this. So this is all about, like, tomorrow we'll start with the project creation and adding the few items to the project and to the solution. Any questions, guys? So the team will be sharing this installation setup file. So I will be asking to share over the chat, and you can download it from there, and you can follow the video, and also you can follow the document to install the Pega Robotics Studio into your machines.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah,
Who's
actually,
Arnold or
actually,
Praveen? Who's speaking?
yeah, yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, Praveen. Tell me.
Yeah, two versions can install. Actually, I've already installed version 22.
Okay. No, you can't install because you have to uninstall the 22 version, and you have to install this 19 version.
Okay.
because 22 version is the advanced one, right? As I said, still clients are not adapted to that. So you can practice this. Still, the all the projects are in the production as are using by 19 version. So you have to uninstall that and you have to install this 19.
Yeah.
You
One more
can't
thing,
use
sir.
the
Actually,
different
we are
version
using
in the same.
.NET C Sharp is there, no? You
Haha.
know about that little bit, or we don't any knowledge on that? I don't have any knowledge
I
on
mean,
this.
even though if you don't have any knowledge, we can manage because we are not using C sharp scripting here like 50-50. Just based on the requirement itself, we using just a 5% or 10% of the C sharp scripting we are going to use here. Even though like if it is required, if you are good in Pega Robot Studio and .NET components, how to be used, so you don't have to worry about the C sharp scripting. You can directly go ahead with the Pega Robotic Studio components itself, and you can create your own solution and project.
Okay.
But
.NET
the
also we need.
minimal
Okay.
knowledge is required for this. Just
Okay.
I mean, if client is required to use asking you to use C sharp, then if you have to know that, like I mean, minimal knowledge in the sense like everyone right now in this situation, everyone are using Google to get the code, and based on their requirements, they are going to change the code based on the necessaries, right? So you have to know that like where I need to change and what code I need from the Google and what I need to paste it and how, the variables where I need to change. So dynamically how I can modify the code which I have got from the Google. Just those things you can know better. You have to know better.
Okay. So Pega is backend on Java, no? This is different. That is different totally.
Yes, it is completely different. Pega is completely related to Java. So Java and oops. So but this is completely different. Here there is no language it is using. If
Okay.
it is required only we are going to use, and also not even the commands. Let's say you have to replace like in the Pega, if you want to replace any values or something, you have to select variable dot replace and braces. So all those things you have to write, right? Here no need to write anything, directly you can use the string it will component, and that component method properties itself you can use it in your automation.
Okay. Okay. From these classes, can I put 3+ experience from
Sorry. Sorry?
from your classes? Can I start these classes? Can I put 3 years experience? No, no. From your classes, to 20
Uh-huh.
days, 1 month classes is there, no?